Hi, my name is Billy Selekane, and my interest or my getting into this field of inclusion is based on the history that I grew up in. I grew up in a completely segregated and very sad moment in time in South Africa. So growing up in such a segregated society, one then sees how exclusion of people of different race, gender, and color can slow down economic growth and personal transformation. So when things changed, I had already started on this journey of assisting organizations by using culture as one of the tools that they can use to include people who were generally excluded from the status quo. So when we see where the world is going, and when we see that now the world has become borderless, it has become even more imperative for organizations to ask themselves this question: how inclusive are they in their process of recruitment, hiring, retention, training, and development of their people? Or are they still using the old ways of thinking where gender, race, and sexual preference is used above the character and the skill set of a person? So for me, my deep personal philosophy is to see a world which is completely inclusive, where people are judged not by their color, their race, or by their sexual preference, but by the content of their character and their ability to deliver value at the levels that they've been employed to deliver value at in organizations. This is a very difficult question. As I usually say to people, it's difficult to speak about one's achievements. However, if I look at my journey from where I started as a young Black South African in a completely segregated environment where even the educational system was not good enough to make us be competitive in a world stage, when I was able to transcend and move from where I am to being able to work globally and impact major organizations around the globe, that in itself had been a very great achievement. And for me, officially being the highest designated professional speaker in the continent of Africa, however, of all the achievements that I've achieved, being a Hall of Fame in two categories, it's when my community honored 30 men and women from our township, which is a slum, and these 30 men and women who had impacted not only the community, not only the country, but who had global impact. And when I was awarded that, given that award as one of those people that have been a great export to the world from that township, was the biggest honor, because the saying says that the going says that many prophets are not honored in their own hometown, and to be honored by your own people and recognizing the work that I've been doing and that I continue to do has been one of the most humbling awards and achievement that I've ever achieved. With a lot of many others that I have, this one occupies a very high space in my heart. For me, what this institute means is when a group of people from completely diverse backgrounds with completely different experiences, living in completely different worlds, come together and recognize that the world needs solutions, but not very frivolous solutions, but deep solutions in fixing the challenges of the world. And when this collective came together and they said, we see a need in society, we've got skills individually, but if we take these skills and combine them and give them to the world, we can make a dent into the world and make sure that we really assist organizations and especially leaders to build inclusive organizations that will become very meritocratic in their approach, but that will also impact society and make sure that we leave this world a much better place than we found it. For me, that is the greatest interest and the greatest love I have for this collective, because we're coming from completely different backgrounds, but we understand one thing, which is serious, that the world needs to open itself up and include people based on their character and not exclude them based on religion, sexual preference, or race. We believe that's an old way of thinking, and that the new narrative and the new story that we need to build a more human story. And the only way we can do that is to open ourselves up and become inclusive. And that begins at the leadership level. Because if leaders can never be given the required skills to build inclusive organizations, we will fail in our journey in transforming nations and organizations. And for me, that's what makes me become part of this amazing organization and be committed to making sure that we achieve what we set out to do by creating leaders that will have a clearly defined framework of creating their organizations and making sure that they are completely inclusive, and not inclusive that people are given opportunities to grow in places that they were otherwise excluded from. So that's for me is the greatest attraction, being able to change the narrative of leaders and making sure that they build better organizations. So what really keeps me motivated? I believe what keeps me motivated is my ability to wake up each and every day and make a difference in whatever small space that I'm given to make a difference. And also the ability to connect with other like-minded men and women from around the world whose sole purpose or our sole purpose is to become transformational facilitators, to facilitate conversations that transforms and that will inspire people to want to be the best that they can be. And I believe that in some days when one wakes up with both an emotional tiredness and a physical exhaustion, the thing that keeps me going is that I can be the difference, that I can sow seeds of greatness, that I can sow seeds of difference, and that I can, in my own small little way, make sure that I leave this world a much better place than I found it. That's what truly motivates me. So, what is it that I really want to leave people with? What is it that I believe we should be thinking about as human beings each and every day? I believe that the profound question that each and every one of us need to ask ourselves is today, are you a better person than you were yesterday? Are you a better employee? Are you a better leader? Are you a better brother? Are you a better citizen of your country? And if the answer is yes, then kudos to you, make it happen all the time. And if the answer is no, you need to go through a retrospective process and ask yourself the question, what is it that you need to personally fix to make sure that you become impactful? Because if all of us wake up with the understanding that we are powerful in our own little spaces, and that power that we have to use it for good all the time. And the only way that that power can become used for good is when we ask ourselves the profound question of the impact that we can create, no matter how small the spaces that we're in, no matter how big the roles that we play. It always begins with the person. If you can fix yourself, you can fix your community, you can fix your organization, you can fix your country, and the world can be fixed. It all begins with you. So ask yourself this one question: are you better than you were yesterday? And if no, find something that you can fix. If yes, double up on what is good. That's all that the world requests of each and every one of us, to become better every day. Because when we become better, we build a society that is not held prisoned by its past, nor driven by anxiety of the future, but we build a society which is present, which is connected, which is impactful. And once we do that, we then take care of the future.